The data that I've seen for Australia suggests that wages are not really the source of the inflation. That it would be a mistake to have workers fall behind the increase in prices. One of the big issues in countries all over the world is growing inequality. And if wages fell behind, that would just exacerbate what I view as one of the central problems of our society.
You've written and spoken a lot about rising inequality. What is the primary risk?
Well, I think a primary risk is certainly unemployment. And if you raise interest rates too much and too fast, there will be almost surely an economic downturn. Right now, Australia is in actually a very robust situation, much more robust than the United States. Our unemployment numbers look low, but our employment numbers are a disaster. They're still not back to, or just getting back to where they were in 2019. But what Australia has to be sensitive to is that there is a significant risk that Europe and the United States will go too far, and there will be a global downturn, and that, of course, will affect Australia. So Australia has to keep in mind the precarious global environment in which it's operating.
We've got a new treasurer, and he's grappling with a mountain of debt. He's going to have a budget very soon that's likely to include some sort of cost of living relief. He doesn't want to fuel inflation, though. Would you advise him to fund this instead of just borrowing the money to pay for a package, that he redirects it from things like infrastructure spending, long-term things that are hard to do at the moment because of the low unemployment rate?
Well, to the extent that they are difficult to do, obviously there is an argument for doing that. But I would also suggest that it makes sense at this particular juncture to impose a windfall profits tax. The increase in the price of energy has been redistributive. The energy companies have done very, very well. They've made bundles, and ordinary Australians are suffering. And since so much of the energy companies are foreign-owned, it's really transferring money out of Australia's pockets into that of foreigners. And countries all over the world are discussing enacting this kind of windfall profits tax. And it seems to me makes a great deal of sense in this current conjuncture. It's not as if the energy companies did anything to deserve it. If maybe they were responsible for the Russian invasion, they could claim that they worked hard to get that high energy prices. But it was Putin who engaged in that reckless action, and why should the energy companies be rewarded?
The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has already ruled this out. The government has a history with an unfavourable history with new taxes, and it said it wouldn't have any. What did you suggest that he do when you met with him? What did you tell the Prime Minister?
Well, times change, and the war has lasted longer. The pandemic has lasted longer than people expected. The supply interruptions have been greater than most people, even good economists, had anticipated. And the result of that is that the windfall profits have been much, much larger, and the distributive consequences have been much greater than had been anticipated even a few months ago. And in the light of these very dramatic changes in economic circumstances, it may make sense to rethink some of those policies.
Joseph Stiglitz, thank you so much for speaking to News Breakfast.
Thank you.